Hey folks, Sir Charles Carey here, and if I sound a
Oh,
little different, it's because I'm embodying my Barry White. Right on. All right. Got a little hay fever or something going on. I don't know what it is, but if I sound different, that's why. But as usual, welcome to another episode of True Mood, the True Music Podcast, where we talk about all things music and all things creative. And I'm here with my co-host Carl T. Smith, the smooth one. What's going
peace.
on? What's going on, Carl?
Everything's cool.
Okay.
Started working on a new album, so sitting here working
Ah,
on some stuff before I logged on.
okay. Can you tell
Thinking
us a
about
little bit about it, whatever it may be, whether it's the process, the theme, the end result that's expected? What tell us about it?
basically, most of the stuff that I'm gonna do is be love songs. Yeah, get these glasses, the glare in the glasses. Love songs and stuff, but some party songs and stuff like that. Um, Working on some actually sitting. Got the old keyboard.
That's what I thought I was hearing.
Working on working on some chord changes and some stuff sticking it all together, getting ready. To way overdue new something.
Yeah,
New
yeah.
songs, new something. I don't know.
It's funny that you're saying that you're working on the project. I am as well, but I wanted to ask you, who inspires you today, if anyone?
Um, as far as it's inspired me, I don't know. I mean, just I guess different people, different things, different times. Usually, I'll just um, have some ideas or something, and just start at that, just right at that, and then somewhere down the line, it reflects my life down the line or something, or somebody's life, But I guess I don't. It's not that I look or something happens that will make me go, huh? I need to write a song, and then sometimes it will, sometimes it will, but most of the times it'll just be some chord changes and like, this sounds pretty good. Let's hook this up with this and put these lyrics on it and start, you know, tracking it down, start putting it down.
So music itself is the inspiration, if I'm getting that right.
Can look at it that way. Music is the inspiration, I guess depending on whatever the chord changes is, the chord changes are, and the mood it puts me in, and will lead me to completing the song. I mean, I have loads of stuff that I just hadn't, throw down a lot of ideas and haven't had the chance to do anything with them.
Right.
Now I go back and listen to some of those, and then sometimes it's just something new. Like I'll hit a couple of chords and go, this
Yeah.
would make a good song,
Right.
or maybe
Uh,
some lyrics, some words, or something.
they say no wine is fine or ready before it's time. So I'm assuming that's something that you experience too, because I know I have bits and pieces of lyrics, bits and pieces of ideas, and I just can't really get into it for whatever reason. Then I come back 3 months, 6 months later, whatever it may be, and I'm like, okay, now it's ready. Now it's ready to have life breathe, or yeah, life breathe into it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it happens that way. I think a lot of times it's just kind of I spend a little time on it, and then like you said, yeah, sometimes you just put it to the side. Sometimes I'll do the whole song. That's the problem with being able to record whenever you want to. You do a whole song, and then at the end of that, you listen to it, sometime later, and you go, I think I want to change. I think these lyrics would go better with this, and those lyrics will go better with that, and this melody will be better over here, and you tear it apart, and you just keep reconstructing.
So, what's easier for you to write, lyrics or music?
Probably music. I mean, I can come up with music and productions. I can come up with a load of different productions and music stuff. I can come up with lyrics, but I think I'm a little more finicky with lyrics. I have a couple of rules that I follow. I must follow these rules. I can't repeat like um, baby, I love you. I want to always love you. You can't say you twice. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
always, I got all these rules that I must follow. So it takes a little more time. Where the music, I can just
Yeah.
lay it down and whatever. And
So now, I mean, it's funny as a musician, every musician has their own quirks and their own hang-ups or whatever idiosyncrasies and stuff like that. Um, do you actually listen to what's out today, or how does that impact you, today's music scene?
I, I do listen to what's out today. I do because I produce and write for other people. I kind of pay attention to what's going on. I don't try to follow it, but for stuff for myself, I just it's not. I don't. It isn't. I don't try to fit into what's happening today, or that kind of thing, because I don't think. I don't think. Um, I don't think my my
Your demographic?
my what my demographic, but my musical approach fit. That musical approach would fit me. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I think like I can work that for somebody else and come
Okay.
out slam it, for somebody else. But then if I do it myself, it just doesn't fit the smooth
Yeah.
one. You know what I'm
Totally get
saying?
it. Yeah.
It, it doesn't fit the smooth one. I mean, a lot of stuff I listen to I like. But what about you?
In what capacity? Which one?
Like how do you feel about today's music, and where do you fit in with that?
I like it, man. I can't say I like it all, but I like the fact that I guess for the past uh maybe 10, 15 years, there's this mashup of R&B soul plus hip hop energy. I like the fusion of the energy. Now I know again for myself, probably similar to what you just expressed. I probably shouldn't try to come out doing Chris Brown. It
Well, if you could moonwalk, go for it.
well, even if I couldn't dance, if I can hit the notes, that would be a rewarding challenge. But it's not necessarily for me. I think for me, my demographic may be similar to yours. It's the more mature crowd that wants a message. Definitely doesn't have to sound like it's Motown, but they want a message with a reminiscent of yesteryear, but still modern instrumentation. I think our demographic will like that, like a good groove, but a good message, and it doesn't have to be, a whole lot of stuff that really doesn't fit our flow, if you will. For instance, I like Neo, I like
Right.
Usher. Of course, I like Bruno Mars and Anderson Paak individually as well as collectively. I like Teddy Swims. I like Giveon. I don't like everything that they do, but I like what they do. Anthony Hamilton. I think I like their flow. It's got that neo soul, maybe somewhat new jack swing, upbeat R&B soul, hip hop flow, and it can be any fusion of that melting pot of music together. And you throw, even if let's say you throw one of the old Temptations or Four Top um, vocal patterns on that music, it can work. You just got to
Well,
pick the right combination. It can work though.
I think all the most of the people that you name fit into that category, or fit into a category that I can fit in, or that we can fit in. you
Yeah.
know but when I think of the new um the new stuff. I mean, I can't. I won't even be able to call out some names. But when I figure the new stuff, I'm thinking, um, um, this new. I don't know. They call it R&B, but I don't recognize it as R&B. Where you
Right.
got, you know, I can't think of anybody, but I'll just throw a name like Megan Thee Stallion or somebody. That kind of new music. But when Bruno Mars, that's 70s, and that's 70s with
'70s revitalized.
a
Yeah.
new, a new swing. No, I hit that. I got that down pat, no problem.
Right.
But as far as that this new kind of thing, I could do that. I do it, but I don't think that I'll fit. I don't think that I fit into that. Hold on one second. Chris. All right. I don't think that I fit into that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think
Now I know for myself, when it comes to writing new songs, most of my material comes from real life experiences, real life philosophy or philosophical desires, if you will, how I feel about love, how I feel about wanting to be loved, how I feel about wanting to love, my person. I think most of my stuff comes from that realistic perspective. Um, and again, I listen to what's on the radio, but not to necessarily copy, but to be inspired to come up with fresh ideas or ideas that got popped to them. Something, it may be something I've never done before. Like, for instance, when I wrote You're Sexy, I was like, hold up. There was a song that Kodak Black was featured on. I can't think of the name of the song. It's a girl song, but he was the featured rapper. So it was a collaboration, right? And it was like just so fly that the bass. But when I kept listening to it, I'm like, that's a piano. So what I
mhm,
did, my bass line became just the piano, the,
mhm.
the lower register of the piano. And it was a smart play because You're Sexy is very catchy. A lot of people like it. And based on the views on YouTube, You're sexy, so good to me. And then the cadence that I created, bop, 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 bop. The cadence, it worked along with the musical arrangement. And I was like, you got something.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
so of course, every song can't be You're Sexy, but that's the area I like pulling from or going towards, in addition to, other inspirations.
Now that works. That
Yeah.
works. I mean, you know, one of the, I guess, one of the things is, the simple stuff. Simplicity seems to be the thing these days. I mean, I come from a production time. The 70s, 80s. 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I'm not that old though, because I'm still 21. But
Somebody told you about it. I got you.
I heard from back and then, it was more about theory and production and making things work and fit, musically and theoretically and all that other stuff. So the the fun thing, or I guess the thing that would stick out, was that you took a chord progression and came up with this unusual, fantastic progression that you put over your or you put under your lyrics, and technically did these maneuvers with your vocals and the chords and the whole thing to make that a hit. Even though it could be simple, but it was theoretically done.
Yeah, I think the fact that we can present music differently. Some may call it breaking rules. I probably would call it breaking rules only because it's never been seen that way before. And I would embrace it because, hey, like James Brown told Maceo, or was it his other musician, Do the people like it? Do they dance to it? So how can you say that I'm breaking rules? How can you say it's wrong? If people like it and it moves the people, let it move the people. Now play what I told you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, the end result is if the people like it, then you got it, you know. But also, if you're like it, if you like it, there's
Yeah.
about a billion people that like it. You just got to get in front of them,
Yes.
which is which is a whole nother conversation. Is like, how do you get what you do in front of the people who would appreciate it?
Right. That's one of the reasons why I like I mean, I say success stories for lack of a better term, but certain conversations, certain podcasts, because when you learn, even if the song is 20, 30 years old, when you learn how other creatives think about their art, it either confirms, reconfirms, or teaches you that it's okay to present yourself in what may be considered an awkward position. Because if I walk on the stage backwards and my whole performance being presented backwards has some kind of a snaz that people like,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm onto something, just like Crisscross, right? Wearing their clothes backwards,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So, I mean, whatever is old is good. Whatever is new can be just as good, if not better. So that's why that melting pot of all those music forms that I mentioned, neo soul, new jack swing, hip hop, soul, all being melted in like a goulash, all being melted in the same pot. Hey man, I'll take a serving, you know? Yeah. I mean, I like being different anyway. And I guess it also comes from the fact that when I was a kid, I felt that I didn't always fit in. So if I
Mm.
find or stumble onto something that's odd or unusual, that's right up my line.
Mm.
Shoot.
Sounds like a winning, recipe to me.
Yeah,
Uh,
you know what I'm saying?
you know, I like I said, with all of that, like you take a neo soul, R&B, new jack swing. I mean, I got quite a few of those with a edgy, pop rock kind of thing. It'll work. And like you said, if you walk in, you do it kind of like backwards.
Right.
So I got some stuff where I had the verse, doing the verse one thing and then whatever, and then I just flipped it and made the verse the chorus and ended up sounding better. Another thing that I would have done, I haven't done it in a while. What I'll do is I'll just because when the sample stuff started coming out, the great thing is that I don't have to use other people's samples. Well, I'm usually playing anyway, but I take a portion of a track,
Right.
and because everything now is about being repetitive, and I
Yeah.
take a portion of that track and I repeat that, and then put something on top of that, and it turns out to be, one of those songs that people like, because for one, especially if it's a catchy, you know, chord progression and catchy melody, that repetitiveness makes what turns out to be a hit.
Yeah. I mean, I like simplicity myself, but I would love to hear some of your other stuff, or maybe what you may consider trash, stuff that you don't want to work with, because it's funny how when you work with people, someone can breathe life into something that
It's true.
you couldn't figure out or don't think it has much value. That's why it sits on that shelf, our
True. True.
computer shelf or our external hard drive shelf, But
Mhm.
meanwhile, the merger or the collaboration can be the thing that makes it pop. That's the spark.
No, very true. Very true. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I like a lot of these artists. I haven't purchased a lot of them because you hear it on the radio, so it's like, eh. But then again, again, there's another guy named what's his name? Um, he did a remake of "Can't Hide Love." Him and Babyface got with Earth, Wind and Fire. Lucky Day. Lucky Day. I like his style. I'm writing his name down because before that song, I think I heard of him being on the music scene, but really wasn't that familiar with him. But because he did that remake of Can't Hide Love, the arrangement, the vocal arrangement was quite different. And that
Hmm.
sparked my interest in him as an artist.
Hmm. Hmm.
So again, Lucky Day and Giveon, again, he's got a different type of sound. He's got a very thick accent, but he gives a different flavor. If it's like the Caribbean Afrobeat flavor with his vocal, and him and like I said, Anthony Hamilton and quite a few others that are really out there making music that kind of reminds me of the old stuff I grew
Hmm.
up listening to, which is probably what it is. They're borrowing, and but it that works for me, you know.
Hmm.
So now you may or may not have an opinion specifically, but what's your opinion on these white artists doing soul music?
Well, I mean, uh, I think, well, I think music is universal. I would like to think it that way. I also think that um, I don't want nobody writing me letters and sending me all kind of
Carl T. Smith at
hey, hey,
AOL.com.
hey, hey, hey. But I believe we're so used to making um, lemonade out of lemons and stuff. So I mean, in a lot of the stuff that we have done to survive has spilled over to other people kind of doing what we do,
Right.
because when you start thinking about the old gospel, and then it turns into rock and roll, and then and then or
Blues.
jazz, and it turned into blues, and the whole nine yards, and stuff like that. Eventually, just like anything else, that I believe it's going to catch on, and people are going to do it. I don't I don't have a problem with that. um I kind of expect it, that if something, if you wear, uh like you said, crisscross or whatever, certain clothes, and it becomes popular, it becomes popular with a people, and there are those who look over, and they sort of look at the other people's plates, or look at other people what they're doing, and take it, and do
Right.
it. I think there's quite a few talented people, of any race or ethnicity, or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. Um, um, I think it's, music is music, and I think I have no problem with it. What about you?
Um. Technically, specifically, I think our art form that we dominate, soul, jazz, that's our thing. However, if you're going to come on over, be good, and I think that the industry
Well,
kind of wants, in some cases, from the political side, which I don't like tapping into so much as it comes to the creative arts, but the industry wants who they want to be out front, and they may also um, they may want to switch gears the way people see certain music styles. When you look at Britney Spears and all these types of people, um, you know, but at least I can say is that they're carrying the rhythm good. They're conveying the song very well. Um, I would prefer if we were the ones that really continue to dominate. But like you said, also, music is music. And if it
right,
makes you feel good, it makes you dance, why deny other ears because of the way the presenter, the artist looks? So,
right.
but I do say, I don't know if you'd heard of this guy named Teddy Swims. I lose control. Trouble. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah,
the words, but
yeah,
you
yep,
know,
yep, yep, yep.
I
I
like
know.
it. And he
Oh
looks
no,
like a hillbilly type cat, but
yeah, yeah,
he got
yeah.
soul.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, no. I've matter of fact, I've seen some videos or I can think of one particular video where there was I think it was a young lady who was on the street singing that. He just happened to be walking by,
Okay.
and you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
joined in and stuff. And I thought that was great. You know,
Yeah.
I thought that was great. There's so many, so many talented people, that and so much. My only thing that I wish that could happen is we would support our thing a little more, because we don't support it until somebody else takes it,
Right.
you
And
know,
that's when we have a problem with it too.
and then have a problem that someone else took it, or the other part of that is, really you don't get the support until somebody else takes it, and then they market it or do whatever they do to it. Well, and when I say do whatever they do to it, I mean just take your name off of it and put Warner Brothers on it, and then then we are the biggest consumers out here.
Right. No doubt.
And it's strange because we invent something, they take it, they sell it to us at a high price. Everybody else waits until we buy it up, and then after that, they'll put it up for sale, and then everybody will buy it.
Yeah, even Magic Johnson did that with the theaters and stuff like that.
Yep. Yep.
You know, they call it Blue Eyed Soul. So I take my hat
Michael
off
McDonald. Mm-hmm.
to Teddy Swims and George Michael. I really like George Michael because I loved his range and his vocals. Michael McDonald, Michael Bolton. Why does everybody got to have a Michael in their name, right? Michael McDonald,
Yeah.
Michael Bolton, George Michael, right? But they do their thing, and they do it well or have done it well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
as it relates back to writing, whether it's music or lyrics, what was your first instrument, and did you buy that instrument?
My first instrument was the first instrument that I owned, or the first instrument that I was interested in.
Let's go with both in your order, any order.
Well, it's always been keyboards or piano. My father was a jazz musician. He played piano. My mother taught me. She said it was a theme from the Apollo. Uh,
Dun, 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 dun,
no,
dun.
no, no.
That's the showtime.
Something like that. She taught me that song, and
Uh-huh.
and then I would go to my grandmother's house. My father used to have band rehearsal over there, and I
Nice.
would watch them play and things like that. So my first instrument would definitely be a piano.
Okay.
Which no, I didn't have a piano, so I was playing on everybody else's piano at the time. Then when I went to junior high school, uh, in sixth grade, they put me in what they call strings,
Okay.
and so I ended up playing cello.
Okay.
I played cello for sixth grade, and then
How did you do it, cello?
I was cool. Matter of fact, I used to get up early in the morning, help the teacher get the instruments out the vault, and whatever, and um, you know, end up learning, end up playing the cello, but I would get like sneak little piano lessons, but I ended up playing, the cello, and then, but all the cool guys was in what they call winds.
Okay.
So, and in hindsight, I was in the strings. That's where all the girls was, but all the cool guys was in winds.
The
You know,
woodwind,
woodwinds, yeah.
sax,
So
and clarinet, and
right,
oboe.
right. So, in seventh grade, I kind of switched and went to winds, And well, there I did the same thing. Got up early in the morning to help the teacher get the instruments out the vault. And what I would do is, while I help him get it out and set up and whatever, he would give me piano lessons.
Nice.
Have me work on stuff. But there I learned how to play. He had me on clarinet first. He had me on clarinet, but I bought every mouthpiece. I still got them all.
I still got my clarinet mouthpiece.
I got them all. I bought every mouth. I bought a trumpet mouthpiece and the tuba and all that other stuff. So I kind of learned those instruments.
You have to call you Quincy with a C.
With a C, huh? But I ended up playing alto sax in the school band.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I ended up doing that. But it's always keyboards, always, always keyboards. How about yourself?
So how many instruments do you play though? Can you play? I should say. You may not be like Mozart with everything, but
oh well, okay. Now that made it easier. I know when I left junior high school, it was 14 of them. It was. I was doing all the strings: viola, violin, viola, bass, and I ended up playing cello. When I went to Winds, I played clarinet. But I was able to play trumpet. Then I played the saxes, which was the alto, baritone, and tenor. But I ended up on the alto. Play a little bass, little guitar, little drums.
Okay.
I mean, because with all of that helps me with the production.
Right.
That helps me because I can imagine those instruments playing what I need them to play.
But you didn't like the oboe or the flute? What's wrong with that, man? No.
The flute, the fingering for the flute was pretty close to the saxophone, and what else? Oh, the oboe. Yeah, I don't think we had oboe because that wasn't in that.
Okay.
That
in the school.
Oh, I had the trombone. I had the trombone.
Oh, nice slides.
Trombone, yeah, trombone. The mouthpiece still got those too. Every once in a while, I look at those and go, "Oh man, what a time!" You know what I mean?
And were you one of those kids that every time you saw a piano, you kind of like wanted to just mess around a little bit, just wanted to like tickle the ivories?
Actually, no. Even now,
wow.
No, actually, no. Even now, I'll go someplace and there'll be a piano or a keyboard or something like that, and I don't necessarily want to play. I'd like to hear what you play. You know what I'm saying?
Why is that?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I ever had an ego.
It don't have to be ego. Maybe you just love it.
No,
I mean,
listen. I know a lot of musicians.
It's ego. Yeah. Well, no, not them. But me and you.
I don't have that. That kind of thing. I think when like they'll say something or whatever, and they'll. I ran into people. I ran into a guy who told me he was the keyboardist for the group I played for.
Okay.
And not only that, I had the jacket on, the chains on, all the stuff. I had all that on, And he told me that he was the keyboard player for that group. And I know there's only two of us, and the other guy, he's ebony. I'm ebony. He's ivory. That kind of thing.
Yeah,
so there's no mistaking. Like, okay,
Right.
And so I'm like, oh man, that's cool, because I don't need to tell him you weren't playing there. You're not the keyboard player.
He knows that, but he's trying to impress upon you,
right? But and I didn't think I need to crush his his particular dream, or whatever. I mean, I knew it, and if anybody else know it, they know it, but let him go ahead and let him teach me how to play the stuff that I've been playing for decades. All
Well,
right, show me.
I won't lie to you. I am not as prolific as you, but if there's a piano in the lobby or in the hotel, or I just wanna I just want to hear it. I just want to, and I'm not trying to play an actual song necessarily, but it's like the Apple Store. I'm an Apple guy. I get the
Mm,
Mac Studio, I get the MacBook Pro. I've had all these variations of Apple computers. So even if I don't need anything, if I'm not even in the market, but there's an Apple Store, I gotta go in, man. And I'm not gonna I may not I'm probably not gonna buy anything, but I
hmm
just want to see what's going on. I just want to, be in the energy. Like I say, be part of the energy. I want to see what's happening, what they're doing. They have anything new? If there's any new accessories that I might like to consider. So same
hmm
thing with musicians. I mean, with instruments. I'm not going to sit down there and throw up my jacket and start because I
Why
can't
not?
play like
Why
that.
not? Go for it.
I'm not that good. You know. But
Mm.
yeah, man, I just love music so much. I really
Yeah,
do.
yeah. I know sometimes I'll go to the music stores and you get a guy, you get some people, they're in there and they're checking out the keyboards, they're
Right.
checking out the stuff and they're checking out the keyboards.
Uh-huh.
And you know, if I wanted to check out how they sound, I just listen to them and listen to what what they do. I don't necessarily have to go to play it just to say, hey, look at me, I'm playing it. Now if they get up and they all walk away and they leave me there alone, I'll check out everything. You know what I mean? But I just don't have that thing that I have to, you know, come in. And I mean, and they're playing whatever they're playing and they feel, they want to buy that keyboard, and I don't want to deter them from doing that. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
want
I hear
them
that
I
too.
don't want them to be like,
Oh,
this
shoot, I
guy
can't play
come
like
over.
that. Nah, never
Yeah,
mind.
and I can't play, so I'm just saying, I don't want them to change their mind based on I come and play on something else or something like that.
Okay, okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's just
I get you, man. I get you. So how, I like we could talk about music forever and a day. I mean, that's what the podcast is designed for. But how do you stay relevant as it relates to music?
well, I um, listen to what's what people are doing, but I think I try to come up with something a little different or something that's not being done. And sometimes it's it actually sometimes it's the stuff that has been done before that they're not doing now, which makes it seem like it's brand spanking new.
Okay.
But and then and then again is you know I I don't think that I chase being relevant as much as I probably should, as opposed to I chase um, the crowd that I fit into, or the crowd that likes what I have.
Then
I
that
think
kind of leads to my next question, like how do you stay visible or what do you do to stay visible? Which I kind of know the answer, but
um well, actually I'm kind of looking at a lot of a lot of different things now. You know, um, one of the things that I used to do was try to be out there and try to get in front of everybody and throw it out there and see what sticks. Um, but what I found, and some other people that I've kind of checked out and follow, is that what you need to do, or what I need to do, what I'm doing is I'm kind of trying to stick with the people who appreciates the music that I do,
right.
and spend all my time, well, as much as my time, not all of it, but as much of my time as I can, um, dealing with them, because those are the people that support you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Um, so there's this thing, there's this It's nothing new. It's the same as when you was doing cassettes and CDs and stuff, which is now what they call direct to consumer.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the market is doing now. That's kind of what everybody is
Shifting to.
trying to
Yeah.
go to,
Yeah.
whereas the direct to consumer and dealing with, and especially if I got three, you got three people who like what you do, those three people might buy everything that you buy, everything
Right.
that you have to sell. Whereas I'm trying to get everybody on everywhere to come and listen to my thing, listen to what I'm doing, and none of them will support or buy whatever it is that I have.
Right. So
So,
do you think your music is relatable to today's era or today's generation, like the type of songs, like what you write about?
well, yeah, I do. Well, no, it's not even I do. I think it's it shows because I have a lot of people around me of different ages,
Okay.
and they are listening and singing the lyrics to our songs. You know what I'm saying? When I say our songs, I'm talking about yours and mine.
Oh, wow. Okay. I got you.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I
Yeah.
know that there's a young crowd. Matter of fact, I had when we did the thing down in Temple Hill,
Yeah.
Temple Hills. So there was a range of people, of music lovers that was there. That
Sure.
was 20. She's 26
Really?
to 68.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense, though. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and those are the people that came out, to support us.
Yeah.
So, is there a market? Yeah, there's a market, and will younger people gravitate to it? They sure will.
You're right. Because when on the last album, Charismatic,
Mhm.
play off my name, Charismatic, I was doing all these videos for Bay and You're Sexy and Without You and all these songs. And my daughter was sharing them with her friends, and it was like, "Oh, that's your father? Oh, wow, I
Can I
like."
get an autograph?
I mean, I don't know everything they were saying, but based on what she told me,
Sure.
they like the music. So
Yeah.
I'm like, "Wow, okay." So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah. 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 I mean, um, there's a market for the material, but also for um, anything and everything that you got in your performances and stuff. And so therefore, once again, that's the area that I want to focus on.
Right,
I want to focus on that. I mean, yeah, I want everybody to have a chance to check it out
for sure, for sure.
and to listen and all that other stuff. But the reality is that most most people aren't going to support it, or most people aren't going to follow it. Um, you know, just because they heard it. And it's about connection.
Yeah,
That's what I've learned. It's about connection. People come because they are connected with you.
yeah, the individual. Yeah, because I know that, for example, obviously I'm not as young as I used to be. I may not do a lot of things that I used to do as far as my energy level, but for my demographic and the image of Sir Charles Carey, um, my bedside manner speaks to my image. The personal side speaks to my image.
Right.
The songs, they're relatable to the image. The way I treat the audience, I think that's appreciated. So as long as I take care of those things, and continue and still get better, but still take care of those things, make those things a standard, then they will always enjoy a show that I'm on or a show that we put on.
Mhm. I just want to make sure that I serve those people who appreciate that, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
of those things, so and then it's kind of I can flood the market, social media, or whatever the case may be, with whatever, or I can direct. That's that direct to consumer thing, or I can go direct to people that really connect with what I'm doing, or what we're doing, and and get and work with them and have them help spread the word to other people like them, because these birds usually birds of a feather, you know
Right.
some flock together. So
Yep.
um there's a billions of people. If you like what you got, there's billions of people who like what you have. You just got to start focusing on those people.
Yeah. So
you know
so I mean, it could be a specific number, but how many songs have you written, man, in your days, man?
I don't know. I don't,
You
I
you
don't know.
you done at least 10 songs, right?
uh, um, yeah, start adding zeros on those
I
things.
know, right? I was doing that same thing today. I was like, how many songs have you written? Okay, you've done 5 albums. Only 4 of them are songs you've written. And then how about how many songs that you're getting ready to put out? How about the songs that you know are not going to make the cut? I'm like, okay, okay, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
Man, I got a whole hard drive
Music, huh?
full of full of songs that I was recording way back in the early days when I was 20, because I'm 21 now.
Wow.
Way way back when I was 20, like the 70s and stuff, when we used to all rehearse and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And it's full of songs, full of material. And then I
And
have
can
all
you
the
update them or
I can update them. I can update them. And then I have a bunch of new songs. I don't know. When I had the studio in the '90s, and then when I had
yeah,
I got a lot of songs,
man.
a
So
whole
tell
lot
me
of songs.
so tell me about this.
Yeah, those guys are going to perform in May, on
Okay,
May
that's
24th.
a 5-man group, huh? One, two, three, four, five. Wow.
Well, it's a you know it's a three right now. It's a three artists performance that's going to happen on Saturday, May 24th.
Okay.
And we're going to be in the Bronx at Rafael Hernandez Auditorium. It's a show you don't want to miss. I'm trying to tell you that. Um, and if, a matter of fact, if you want to come and check out this show, if you happen to be in New York and you want to come and check out this show, go to the website that's on the page on this flyer, and
What's that website? What is it?
it's ctstickets.smooth1.com.
Okay.
Right, you go to there, and
Oh
when
yeah.
you get there, use the promo code. You can use the promo code ABC,
Mm.
and you get a pair of free tickets.
Oh, okay.
You get a pair of VIP free tickets. I mean, you
Don't get
also
much better
go.
than that.
You can, well, the price is right. Come and check out what we're doing. You also can get the same free pair of tickets if you go there and you put I think it's Sir Charles Carey VIP 524,
Okay, okay.
or Smooth One VIP 524. All of those work the same, and get you a pair of free tickets. Well, not only that, we have a limited amount of, because we're going to do something for the first time that we're doing. I mean, I've been doing it for other people, but we're
Right.
going to do it for the first time for us. Is we're going to stream it live,
Nice.
so you can go there and you can get you a stream. Pack the house, get your house full of people, and pack the house and get you a stream. Get
Ain't don't have to leave the house. Ain't got to travel nowhere. Don't need a
got to
babysitter.
travel, no parking, no babysitting. Get the baby up in front. Let the baby groove.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All
so
right.
it's going to be Charles Carey, the group Overtime, and myself.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. So, these guys, the group Overtime, you've known them for a while, I imagine.
Yeah, I've known them for a while.
Okay. Okay.
We had Michelle Ivory was going to perform, but something came up and she wasn't able to do it. So I called up overtime, and you know they're going to do it.
Maybe
And
we can get overtime to come to the next week's podcast. If not next week's, the week after. Maybe
oh no,
Michelle Ivory can come next week if you could get in touch
no,
with her.
no, yeah. No, get in touch with all of them. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
No,
that'd be great.
yeah, no thing. Yeah. Matter of
All right,
fact, I'm
folks.
hoping to see them tomorrow.
Okay. Well, folks, you've heard it from the smooth one. You've heard it from me. We've got a lot going on. I will be in Waldorf, Maryland on April 25th at the Cow Thai restaurant. It's a Thai restaurant. If you like Thai food, you don't have to pay any interest. Just come in, grab your food, and you'll get a chance to check out the performance. I will be performing with my good friend, Mr. John R. Lewis, guitarist, pianist, and we will be doing cover songs, maybe some standards. All you gotta do is grab a bite to eat, and we look forward to sharing our talents with you. See if I can find real quick. I'm not sure if I will be able to, but I'm gonna look, see if I can find that flyer. I can pop it up on the screen real quick. Let's see. Hold on. Here it is right here. Okay, I didn't realize that it was so close by. Okay, did it pop up? Oh, here it is. There it is. Yeah, we'll be in La Plata, also known as White Plains, Maryland. Unfortunately, I do not have the address, but please, by all means, check this out on April 25th. Let me get rid of that so you can see that from 6 to 9. Come grab a meal, and we will be doing what we do. All you got to do is check it out, enjoy yourself, and we look forward to entertaining you and performing what we do. And then, as you know, in May at the Rafael Hernandez Theater, May 24th, we'll be right in the Boogie Down, right in New York City, in the Bronx. Come on and check us out.
Yep.
So, with that being said, folks, as always, you got to be part of the energy. See you next time. All right.
Shake it.
Yeah. You know?